Along the way there, I had a bit of a health scare that also really was part of why I went through my head. I've got to get this done. It created some fear in my children that I never wanted to experience again. And if there's something I could do to change that by hell or high water, I was going to.
Welcome back to another episode of the Fasting Method podcast. This is Terri Lance, and it's been a hot minute since I've been here, so I'm very excited to be back. And I'm very excited because I get to talk today with our coach, Jamie Cipriani. Jamie, how are you doing?
I am good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, Jamie, I realized that we never really got to have much of an opportunity to kind of introduce you to our listeners and to our community. You've been doing a lot of work in the community for a few years now and have been around the community longer than that. But I know you and I did a podcast about a book that we both really valued. So I wanted to start today and get to talk a little bit about who you are and what you bring to the table in your work at TFM. So if you could give us a little bit of the background of what brought you to TFM and what your experiences have been in your own health journey.
Oh, where do I begin? What brought me to TFM? Actually, I was really fortunate that I had a doctor. Actually, she was a nurse practitioner. I have nothing but respect for nurse practitioners. They are amazing. And she'd been helping me with my health journey for a long time. And so always battling weight issues since I was young, thyroid issues, autoimmune issues. And when I was really hitting a wall, she's the one who said, I think you might want to check out fasting. And this was back in late 2018, 2019, around there. So, of course, got home, Googled, put in fasting, and what comes up, of course, Dr. Fung and Megan Ramos. So I went hard down the rabbit hole, read off the books, the obesity code, etc., Megan's books. I started fasting a little bit on my own, and I really realized I needed more support. So I reached out to, back then, it wasn't even the fasting method. It was still IDM. It was not this amazing, beautiful community that we have now online, but I reached out and I started coaching. Again, very different format than it is today, but that really was the impetus of my journey. Along the way there, I had a bit of a health scare that also really was part of why I went through my head. I've got to get this done. It created some fear in my children that I never wanted to experience again. And if there's something I could do to change that by hell or high water, I was going to. So started my coaching and I was hooked. Through the work, it took me a while. I'm still a work in progress. But thus far, I have shed 70 pounds. I've reversed my autoimmune disease, which was rheumatoid arthritis. Still working with the thyroid. It goes up and down as you heal. It's also constant adjusting. But it's been just an amazing journey. And then I was trucking along, just going to some groups. Actually, I couldn't make many groups. But then a little thing happened in the world called COVID. Just a minor little adjustment we had to go through.
That little blip.
Exactly. And all of a sudden, for the first time in 40 some years, I was home. I could actually go to meetings. And TFM was, I don't even know how to explain what it was during COVID. It was an anomaly little slice of heaven for all of us members, truly. The coaches were there. We had extended hours. There seemed to be meetings around the clock to give people so much support they needed. And that's really when I dove into the community. I feel like I was in a group at least 4 or 5 hours a day, sometimes well over that. And I really feel like I became part of the fasting method at that point, and I was honored to. That's when Megan started having what we now call our mentors. So I became a mentor, which means back then, mentors would even lead some community groups. We would lead challenges. We would help out in the meetings. So as back as 2020, I started that kind of a role at the fasting method. And it has just kind of spiraled and continued to grow. A few years ago, I became officially on board and I started doing more community groups. I then got certified also as a meditation teacher and talk about a dream come true for a brand new meditation teacher. The ink was barely dried on my certification, and Megan said, okay, well, now you're starting meditation groups for us. I know people who search high and low to ever have that type of opportunity when they're becoming a meditation teacher. So now I have been doing that for a few years as well, bringing that to the community. I think that's a really important piece. We become really good fasters in this community. We figure out what foods work for us. It's that stress. I don't have to tell you this. It's the behavioral issues or emotions. So being able to bring that piece of meditation, I hope it's been worthwhile. I think it has to really help with that side of the journey.
I definitely know that it's been really helpful. It's so funny. I was just in a coaching meeting the other day with one of my clients, and he said, well, maybe we could just meditate during these sessions. And I thought, oh my gosh, he is in with the wrong person. And I said, yeah, we could do that. But I got to tell you, I'm not the strongest meditation person. He says, oh, no, no, no. We could just sit quietly for a little bit. And I thought, okay, that I can do. But definitely your role at TFM and what you bring has been so valuable because you really do this beautiful focus on kind of being more in touch with ourselves. Every time I say this now in a meeting, I give, homage to you about like using the strategy of honoring the pause and how important that is for so many of us in so many different ways. So I'm quoting Jamie, I'm referring to you, I'm encouraging people to go to your meetings, go to your meditations, because you do talk about these things in a way that some of us don't. We don't have that same background. So I love that you bring that to the table. And I loved getting to hear again about your journey because I've been present at TFM throughout your time here. And it was just reminding me like, wow, that was over 5 years ago now, or about 5 years ago when I really got to know you and got to have more time with you and getting to be involved in your journey and things. So it was really great to hear you share that with us here. So, Jamie, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on now, and just realizing, gosh, we haven't gotten to talk about this other stuff, but to have you on now because there's another new exciting additional part of your role at TFM that is just in the beginnings. And so I wondered if you could talk a little bit about your new endeavor as an accountability coach.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I've worn many hats so far here at the fasting method, but this is my first foray into, besides the community groups, more actual coaching. What I'm excited about is the new offering of an accountability coach. I think so many people in this community, that's really what we need. I know that's what I needed. I didn't have at that point real big health issues and metabolic issues, any real serious medical things that needed to be turned around. I needed accountability. I needed someone to support me along the way, someone who would really walk the journey and this path with me. And so I'm excited that now that's exactly what we're offering in coaching. As an accountability coach, our purpose, my purpose, will be to really support my clients on their fasting, their eating, and their healing journey every step of the way. Really being there to help change up their fasting schedules, to work on their nutritional needs, to be a partner with them when they need help, when they feel like they're stumbling, when they need a cheerleader, even when they may need a little tough love. That's what I am so excited to be there for. I just know how important having that is on this journey because you can feel really alone. Even though we have an amazing supportive community and the groups, sometimes this health journey can be a little a little scary, a little frightening, a little lonely. And so I'm really excited as an accountability coach to help be there, to hold space for you, to listen, to work through those issues together, and really to help you be the best you want to be, the healthiest you want to be, and realize the life that we can live once we really harness all of this.
Yeah, that's really powerful, Jamie. And I also just, in knowing you over time, know that, as you said, that was what you really needed, that you didn't come to this with a lack of knowledge. You came to this with challenges of implementation of all of the knowledge because it's complicated. And that accountability being so important for many of us, I know for me, it's showing up to be in connection with someone else, to be in connection with someone else really holds me to showing up for myself. Because on my own, I think I'm going to do it. I want to do it. And then 400 other things come up that encourage me not to do it. And so that accountability piece feels so important. And I think your own insight into what accountability means for you is really significant in the work that you do as an accountability coach to really, like you said, to hold that space for people. I think one of the things that any of us as a coach does that is so powerful is we help people to see themselves more realistically. And based on what I know of everything that you do with people is I think you help people see that best version of themselves. You highlight the strengths, you highlight the progress, even through difficulties. And just, on a friendship level, I've always gotten that from you, that you can take a very realistic look at it and say, yes, but, and offer that positive, seeing myself in a mirror and holding me to that. So I know that that's something that you do with members and clients, and I know we're all better for it. So I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah, to your point, Terri, and thank you for that, those kind words. And I do think it's so important. I think that as an accountability coach, again, it's really being there for that person, seeing that person, meeting them where they're at, sometimes pushing them along, challenging them, like I said. And what you said just reminded me of a really beautiful tradition that goes back really centuries. It's actually from African Bushmen. It goes back centuries and centuries. And it's how they've greeted each other over time. When they hear someone coming, they would say, I see you. And then the other person would say, I am here. What you were saying just reminded me of that. That's so beautiful. I think as an accountability coach, I'm here to see you and be here for you. And so it just remind me, if you know works with me, like I'm a quote person. I have to find these quotes, things.
I really love that too, because not only is it, I see you, and I think we all need that. It's affirming, it's validating. And for some of us, it's scary. It's scary to be seen because we've learned to do a lot of this journey silently in our head, hidden in a closet, eating things we know aren't going to work well for us and things. And so to allow ourselves to be seen and acknowledged. And then I love the response, I am here, because that to me is like embodying ourselves as we're being seen and valuing our own presence here rather than hiding from our presence or hiding from this journey. So it's really powerful.
Thank you. Yeah. And that's one thing I really also so admire about not only hopefully what I will bring to the table as a coach, but when all the coaches at the fasting method bring to the table, we were all in our clients' shoes. I don't think any of us weren't. And so we've been there. We understand the struggle. We understand the hiding. And also we understand the joy of when something clicks. So I think it brings to the table just a different level of coaching and support that we can do, having walked everyone else's shoes on this journey.
Absolutely. And I've been trying to reiterate this wherever possible for the past couple of months, because saying it somewhere, it might have been in a coach's corner meeting or somewhere else, but a couple of community members said it was so good for them to hear us acknowledge that we as coaches also have things that are challenging and also struggle at times. Because I think otherwise the perception is like we are someone on Mount High looking down at, okay, you can get where I am because I did, versus I totally get it. And I still struggle with things. I might come across like, oh, yeah, I know how to do this. But that doesn't mean in the moment I'm not questioning myself or feeling alone in it, like you said. So I think that recognition that you, as an accountability coach, or any of us coaches here at the Fasting Method, we really, I hope, always are able to be clear about we struggle too. We are not perfect, and we don't expect anyone to be perfect. And, that idea of just showing up for each other, allowing ourselves to be seen and seeing each other and walking through this journey together, as you said, I think is so important. So, Jamie, we've just been acknowledging one of your many strengths that you bring to the table as an accountability coach. And I wanted to touch on another one, and you've highlighted it a couple times today, but I want to really take note of it because I think you have a really nice way of doing this. You're also a New Yorker and you have a directness about you. Now, I have come across some very direct people in my life and I stay away from them because, man, I sometimes have very thin skin and can feel very off put by things. But I've always felt with you that it's this really insightful awareness of what you will point out, but it's never done harshly. You have a good sense of humor. You have a good way of kind of saying it, maybe even a little tentatively, like, do you think this might be? And so I've really come to value that so much in you, and that you can be very direct and give people hard things to hear, but never make them hard to hear from you, that you do them with kindness and connection and respect. And so that's just another piece I wanted to highlight about my experience with you and what I think our community members and clients get to experience with you as well.
Thank you. Yes, I will never apologize for my New Yorkness. Once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker. But yeah, that I do try with that because I think there is a time that we need a little bit more directness, so to speak. I know I did. And you were my coach. And I think you have that same quality. There were times I didn't like you very much for that moment.
I think you even may have accused me of only sharing certain charts to make people cry.
There were some tears involved. Yes. Yes, there were. But I think when you step back, and I think if you have hopefully initially built that trust and relationship with your clients, they know that any directness is out of that compassion and love and just wanting the best for them. It took me a minute to sit back when you would do it to me, but I really did feel that. And what better way than having someone in your corner also giving you a little bit of the truth. Sometimes this journey comes with some hard truths. We have to kind of look at ourselves, our behaviors, our why of those behaviors. It's not easy, but I think it can be accomplished. And when you do that, and you can do that with maybe a firm but loving, compassionate hand, so much amazing work in progress can happen. That's the same goal, right? We want everyone to succeed here, every one of us to be happy and healthy, and also to discover, this is a little bit of my meditation movies, but discover the magnificent beings that we are. Health and happiness and joy is our birthright. Every one of us were born with that. And hopefully, I'm just there as a guide to help you on the path to see you have that all brought to light.
Yeah, if you think about it in that way, as you just described it, it's really almost like not sharing a gift or withholding something to not tell someone something that's hard to hear. Obviously, again, when done respectfully, it's like almost disrespectful to let people stay in there. I'm just going to do it like this and it's going to be fine, rather than just say, I see you and it's not working. Let's change the direction here. Let's tweak something. So it's really powerful. All right. Well, Jamie, I think you and I could definitely go on, as we often do in our own meetings. We could go on for hours and hours, but I wanted to make sure that listeners know, whether they're already a member at TFM or if they've never joined TFM, but they're interested, having listened to this, how would they get connected with you to start doing this accountability coaching work?
You can reach out to, if you go to the Fasting Method website, what you'll find is the coaching program. If you click on that, you'll be taken to the coaches. You'll see the accountability coaches, and I'll be right there on that. You can click through, pretty self-explanatory, say book a session. Initially, we do a 15-minute initial assessment where we just take those 15 minutes. It's a real brief, but just to kind of see if it's a right fit, get to know each other, explain to you how I work, how the program works, a little tidbit about TFM and what else we have to offer. If you sign up for a coaching package, you also get a membership for 6 months within the community. I could go on for hours about the benefits of that, but I'll do that in our session. And then I'll just send you everything. We can start working together and make some magic.
Very good. I also want to share from a technical standpoint, at the time that this episode is initially airing, there is a promotion for accountability coaching. So if you're interested in accountability coaching, you also can get a 25% discount on that. And that is whether you are currently a member of TFM or, again, have never been a member of TFM, you are eligible for that discount for the accountability coaching. And that is a big bonus right now. Very excited to get to offer that. So I hope that any of our listeners who have felt that connection with you throughout this session, Jamie, can hop on, get onto the website, sign up for an intake with you, and just get this ball rolling, because it's totally worth it to get to have you walk through this journey with them.
Thank you, Terri. I'm really excited that TFM really saw the need for this type of coaching, because I do think it's really important. And I'm excited for this new chapter.
Very good. Well, all right, everyone. You've had a great opportunity to get to know more about Coach Jamie and all that she brings to the table. I challenge you to think about, are you struggling to do what you already know? Or do you have some things you still need to learn to do? This is the place to get it done. So, Jamie, thank you so much for being with me today. Thanks for this great conversation, and I will certainly see you soon.
Thank you, Terri. I look forward to continuing this journey.
All right, everyone, take good care, and we'll be back next week with another episode.